So I'm very proud of being invited to join here. Probably because of my background, I have been promoting cross-sector partnership, in particular to the tripartite models among social enterprise, corporate sectors, and also the NGO sectors, with the same goal to align the resources among different sectors to achieve the same social mission. Now, I came from more investment and asset management background, so I like numbers and I like to look at also the sustainability and now obviously the importance of social impact. Let me just share with you some of my observations from my personal experience and also the trend of the latest social enterprise development in Hong Kong. And some of my like-minded fellows understood my passion in the past 7 years is to create employment for people with disability and also look after their well-being, in particular to this kind of new economy in this region. If I just claim a few numbers, if we can hire the unemployed people with disability and pay them for the minimum wages, if we talk about 10,000 people, then the whole wealth effect, and that will be affecting 0.3% of GDP in Hong Kong. So let us also think about if these are the ability or productivity being idle now in our society, what should we do? Now, secondly, we are also entering in a kind of digital economy, the new ages, technology-driven environment. We talk about a lot of fintech, AI, a lot of things maybe make us dizzy. But then when we think about the people with disability, if they just lock out from the web, online platform, app platform, they cannot really access all this information and even enjoy the advantage. So then other way around, when we think about the wealth effect of the online business, and if we can see that these groups of people with disability, they can enjoy a better life with the better income, and at the same time, it also gives rise to the better business opportunity for the commercial sector, in particular to the online system, online business. And these are the groups of people, they really need the development of the technology for their livelihood. So I don't want to overload you with all my passions. So if any one of you look into it, then you can also create a viable social enterprise platform for achieving it, doing well and doing good. Now, if I also add one more remarks about the development of the social enterprise, when I just first started about 7, 8 years ago, it was less than 300 social enterprise. And a lot of people talk about social enterprise. Well, your charity organizations, or you are going to lower the quality of your expectation. And so a lot of misunderstanding about social enterprise. But today, we have the new number about the number of social enterprise now in Hong Kong is over 650. So I'm not talking about the number, but when we look at the composition of the support, in the old days, they are driven by the support of the NGO, but today, we were told that the simple majority of the supporters are really coming out from private sectors or even from the enterprise. So obviously, we can also justify it because of the rise of CSR, the concept of creating shared value, and some others initiatives out of ESG reporting. So therefore, the cross collaboration will be very, very important, and I think it's very timely to allow all the like-minded fellows to move forward. So therefore, today I'm very happy that we have two very successful and inspiring cases because of their partnership. So the first one actually coming out of the heart to support the youth, how they can really make use of the new idea to let the marginal youth to get out of their track and then to be guided to the right track. And then you have to ask, what can they do? Why they can really attract this marginal youth so that they can follow the right track. And I think the second one is really, is amazing to me too. And it's a gospel to me because I hate to receive coins. Either I give it to the tips to the taxi driver or to some others in the marketplace, or then I have accumulated in my coin box at home. But then HEYCOINS, they also really work out the idea how to support this mission. So, and then these two companies, I must say they have a very good angel partner. At the very beginning, I understand that the corner also approached Outblaze, and Sean is now the really supportive for this project, and also Eddie also meet with a number of supporters. So Amanda is really one of the key angel supporter for the whole development. So without further ado, I would like them to introduce themselves, and perhaps some have already prepared some video or PowerPoint so that you can have a kind of a precise view of what they are doing and how they would also like to move their mission forward. So let me pass it to Connor, and then I understand that you're going to show us the video, right?
Yes. Should we watch the video first?
Did you have the slides set up? Well, the slides are a bit more boring, so we'll do the slides first because we want to get them out of the way, and then you can just watch a really interesting video afterwards. So just to give you a bit of context of who we are and how this works within this collaboration. So Outblaze were established in 1998. It's essentially like a very, very flexible internet technology company. And that meant from at the very beginning, it started out as email. So this just kind of pinpoints some of our, I'd say, nice kind of milestones that we reached since it's been established. So one of the kind of more front-facing initiatives that were able to kick off was Animoca Brands, which is one of the top 50 mobile developers across the globe. It's listed on ASX, and its main focus is essentially leveraging IP and brands to create social, casual, mass market types of experiences for everybody to enjoy. A more kind of recent initiative for us is the establishment of the Dalton Learning Lab, which is essentially a school that presents very young children the first kind of experiences with emerging technologies. So it teaches robotics, teaches the idea of learning through digital experiences. So there's another slide a little later that will cover some more of that. Chord Hero 2, that will be covered later. Sanrio Digital is obviously Sanrio. So basically we have a very, very good partnership with Sanrio, which is Hello Kitty. And through that, we've been able to develop lots and lots of games, titles. We did an email account, so you could have @Hello Kitty if you really wanted to. People did, and some liked Melody, so they had that as well. And then another one is Turnout Ventures. And Turnout Ventures, the most visible thing, one of the more visible things that came from that is that it was related to the Ben 10 franchise, but it also contributed to the kind of growth of the Tusky brand. If you're not aware of Tusky, it's kind of a little white rabbit that's super, super popular in China. So that's a little bit of Dalton Learning. So essentially it's on the edge of what we have today, which is essentially not only teaching, coding, robotics and such, it's also presenting the tools that we use today to create those experiences. So when we're creating like games and stuff, people are developing artwork on digital platforms as well. So that's just as important. So not only is it just holding a brush right now, you're actually able to hold a digital pen, use a Wacom tablet and all that stuff. Chord Hero is a music initiative where essentially the target is to make music super affordable and accessible to as many people as possible. And to do that, we not only built the physical guitars, we also built applications that encourage learning, that make learning approachable, that make learning easy. And final one is that Animoca brands. So that's kind of the branding edge that we did, and that's kind of shows right there, you can see kind of Doraemon and Thomas and Friends, and we did our own IP as well. It's not only branded stuff, and that is also what kind of was started at Outblaze too. And this just touches on a few things that we did. So we've done multiple things. It's kind of a very, very kind of dynamic, flexible environment that stretches very, very far, covers a lot of different initiatives. So that's it, only 4 slides. You don't have to go through any more. So we can go to that like interesting video now if you want.
Now perhaps maybe the corner you can now integrate, and for the benefit of the audience, how Team Future work out the relationship with Outblaze briefly.
All right, I was inspired by Dr. Alex, and I just got a simple desire, just want to help the marginal youth. So I started up a social enterprise that doing game testing. And later on, I found Outblaze as our client, and we try to work out some job opportunity for the marginal youth. This is about all.
Okay, so then in other words that you can see, they have a journey to figure out the way how they can attract the marginal youth. And perhaps we might say gaming, all these activities is not appealing to the adults, but we can see that all the youth, they are really engaged in game activity. And the best way to draw them is to that area. Perhaps that I will also ask Connor to elaborate a little bit further how they can really work out the mission and also the work platform for this sort of marginal youth. But that was a fantastic idea to let the games attract the marginal youth and perhaps some idea of education for good. Yeah, so then perhaps Eddie, you can also introduce your venture, and then perhaps Amanda also just share the way how you find the linkage with HEYCOINS.
All right. Interesting. We also have one video to show you guys. So perhaps we can show the video
so
first.
please.
So just feel like a pre-entertainment, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, please.
HEYCOINS kiosk is a self-service automatic machine that counts people's coins. It allows users to top up their e-wallet or even redeem products on our platform or to donate to different charities. Our service benefits the users by recycling their coins and activating the value of their coins. It also benefits the government by putting the coins back in circulation and reducing the cost of coins manufacturing. It also benefits the society by fully utilizing the coins and to give people a reason to get familiar with new technology. To deliver our service, we depend heavily on our kiosks. That's why we were in search of a reliable platform and technology to help us with this critical task.
Obviously our company name is HEYCOINS. It's nothing about crypto, it's nothing about ICO at all. It's 100% the coins in your pocket. So a little bit about myself, like your iPhone, Android phone was made in China as well. And I grew up in a very beautiful province called the Yunnan province, which is a lot of ethnic minorities over there. And I went to Hong Kong for joining the study at Lingnan University, which is only one liberal university in Hong Kong, which did educate me and helped me to find my passion about the social impact creation. That's the reason why I started a company called HEYCOINS together with my partner Adam from City University and two CHK MBA students, who are Stephen and Rocco in Hong Kong. And yes, we call ourselves social fintech. Somewhere we lined up with the social impact creation. At the same time, we do the financial technology as well. So currently we have thank you.
Okay. So currently we have operations in Hong Kong, Singapore, Macau, and Bangkok. And it has been 2 years since the beginning. Because today is very important for me because the very two important and lovely ladies, Elsie and Amanda, is staying here. Without them, HEYCOINS cannot make it today. So much appreciate on that. Okay, pass me the. All right, thank you. Okay, so we have a lot of kiosks in Hong Kong and different MTR stations, and we are the largest and the first in Hong Kong to help you to connect with your coins with your e-wallets. Just out of curiosity, how many of you here is under 35 years old? Can you just raise up your hands? I'm sorry for that, it's not an offensive question. All right, how many of you actually used the digital wallets before? Yeah, so obviously I think we are at the right track to go into digitalize our society. The reason why I mentioned this is because I asked this question because we're actually working and collaborating with a company called Tap and Go, where essentially is from the HKT payment is one of the Hong Kong telecommunication company. And what do? We put your coins into a digital wallet. That's the first thing. And among the digital wallet, you'll be connected timely to all the banks that you use. I think it's over like 50 banks, right? All the banks in Hong Kong, right? Yeah, all the banks in Hong Kong right now is connected with the Tap and Go app. I.e., you deposit your money into Tap and Go, then you can instantly with actual value of coins to whatever banks you want to do. And alternatively, you can exchange some gift vouchers like iTunes, Starbucks, McDonald's. But don't get McDonald's, it's not healthy. And yeah, of course, you can have beauty products. We have a lot of beauty products, traveling products as well. And we'll partner with MTR New World, and the DBS Foundation was giving us a lot of money to help us start the company as well. Of course, HKT was the strategic partner that we have in Hong Kong to expand and help us grow the business. This is our kiosk. Actually, it's not updated one. Right now we have around approximately 30 kiosks up and running in Hong Kong. And yeah, just some numbers about our tractions. Over the 1.5 years, we have been collected over 15 million value of coins in Hong Kong. That's a lot of coins. That's pretty heavy as well. Yeah, and the reason why I call it as a social fintech because we do line up to the social impact creation. I'm sure that right now today is about the UNDP, and the UNDP is a development program that there's 17 goals out there you can pick up from, and we actually line up the 3 goals of them, the goal for 12 and 17. So our business drive the sustainable impact on education in terms of fintech, and we save the social cost of the coins manufacturing for the government, and it will provide a social service for the people to actual the ideal value of the coins. That's how we call it as a social impact creator. And beyond that, we put ourselves into the real actions. We help all the NGOs which is on our platform to help them to do the social services. We're sending all the the lunch boxes to the others. And we have NGO Wednesday. We convinced people to donate their spelled changes in all the NGOs manufacturing our platforms. And we do working with some kind of beauty companies round up the campaigns in MTR, and wherever you do buy purchase a treatment, this beauty company actually definitely you purchase the treatment through HEYCOINS machine, and they will be 100% donating all the money to the Feeding Hong Kong, and there's 37,000 money was being donated. And yeah, so it's been a long journey. We started things at 2015. The reason why I mentioned Amanda is very important to us is because when we didn't have any networks relationship with any commercial sectors. And we just randomly to go to one of the events and get contact with one of the co-workers of the Amanda's. And that co-workers been connect us with Amanda. And then the next 2 weeks, we just been meeting, and then another 2 weeks passed. We just formally form an agreement, hey, then let's do this together, because we're actually pushing everything from the cash to cashless way. So that's somehow we line up the same directions. Yeah, this is guess today is about UN, because HEYCOINS is actually, well, we help a lot of things for UNESCO as well. This is me. I went to one of the UN events in Bangkok, and to demo and showing a lot of people from the south part about how we can trigger and use the real another side of the coins to create our social value of the HEYCOINS. Yep, and do appreciate we have different advisor support on that. Yeah, Howard Ling was a very, I would say he himself is a social impact in this society of Hong Kong. Everyone's running social enterprise. He's the master one. He's the one you definitely need to know, and I would highly recommend you guys can find him in the linking. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much like HEYCOINS.
Yeah, thanks. I think it's about time for Amanda to add a few more remarks about yourself, your organization, and also the way how you interact with HEYCOINS at the very beginning.
Sure. Probably, is there anyone of here didn't heard about HKT before? Didn't? You don't know us? Okay, we are Hong Kong Telecom. We're Hong Kong Telecom, and we're actually doing telecom business in Hong Kong, the largest telecom operator. And okay, so these are the advertisements. What we do, the mobile network, the new loyalty club called the club, and we have the club SIM, and also the smart chargers for doing the charging business with China Electric. It's a joint venture company, and then we do the charging for the EV, electronic vehicles. And of course, broadband, and also the media business, and which is all included in our group. Okay, so this is where we are, and we are the payment platform and the payment division of HKT. So, well, actually, we are operating this payment business for 3 years. We obtained the store value facility license from Hong Kong Monetary Authority. So, so we are officially legitimate, just like WeChat, Alipay Hong Kong, or OEPay of Octopus, and PayMe as well. Probably most of you will know about these mobile wallets. Yeah. So, what's the difference? Actually, I want to emphasize what's the difference between HKT, the tap and go, and also say WeChat, Alipay. The main difference is all of it's actually a store value mobile wallets. You put in money just like Octopus, you top up into your mobile wallet and then you spend. But the WeChat, Alipay, and of course the Octopus or other mobile wallets are run in a closed loop business. They have to have their own merchant networks. But the HKT, the tap and go is different. We work with MasterCard and also Union Pay card. So with this mobile wallet, you can use in MasterCard network and also the Union Pay network. Online, offline, local, and overseas. So this is the main difference of tap and go. And, despite we work with international card schemes, we actually focus to serve the local people because we are HKT. We serve Hong Kong. We built our platform and also developed features that's suitable for Hong Kong people. Especially, we find that the young people right now is the most valuable and the person that we would need to talk to, because they are more tech savvy, and they welcome the new things easily. And when, if you educate them from their young, and how to make use of mobile payments, and how to manage their own spending, and also how to spend wisely and control their own spending behavior. And then when they grow up, they will tell their friends, and also affect their families, and even their kids. So this is kind of something like education, fintech education to the youngsters. Yeah. 你幫我撳一下。Okay, so these are what we are offering right now, just like I said, MasterCard Union Pay, and of course the latest development of Hong Kong Monetary Authority, the faster payment system. You may heard some bad news about it, but I must say that this is actually a very innovative and very good system developed by HKMA. And we support that, but I really believe that every new system of, especially this financial banking system, is such a new one, is have a very huge impact to everyone. And so there must be some little bit learning curve here. So please bear with us. HKMA and of course HKT, and I believe all the banks and all the participants here working on this FPS is working very hard day and night to make sure everything is okay. So yeah, bear with us with a little time, then we'll make it done, make it okay. Trust us. Trust the Hong Kong system, actually. Hong Kong people are, a very intelligent, very intelligent, and we do care about this security, the privacy, and also the where your money put, and yeah, this is our core value of Hong Kong people. And yeah, we serve the banks, and you can top up, you can make it online payment, and of course, just like I said, we serve the young people. Well, why am I say that? Because actually, if usually your kids maybe, or your friends, or your friends' kids, or no, you're too young. Your brothers and sisters, maybe 11 or above, or under 18, probably they cannot get a credit card. You cannot get a MasterCard, you cannot get a Union Pay card. But with Tap and Go, because we work with MasterCard and Union Pay, you can get it. But of course, it's a prepaid card. You have to deposit money and then spend. But you can now enjoy the online shopping, buy your own goods, you plan your own financial expenses, and to learn how to spend money wisely with MasterCard and Union Pay. And of course, we support multi-currency because Union Pay has the renminbi exchange in China. Okay, and this is another part of serving Hong Kong small merchants, the SME, and they're running a very thin or linear operation. So we provide some simple solutions to them, just like the little handheld device, the black one, and the white one is the MPOS, and integrate all the necessary payment in Hong Kong. And we serve them on the online payment, we support them. If some new business or new enterprise that you would like to have the solutions of payment gateway and try to receive more payments in your online shop, or even do your own apps, just like we work with some milk tea or traditional milk tea shops, like Ha. And then the old man actually don't know what is O2O or what is online payment, but he's an expert of making milk tea, but he wants to grow his business. So what can he do? So he can find us. So we give him some very simple solutions and with a low charge, and make them operate their business. So this is one of our service. Okay, here it is, HEYCOINS. We met HEYCOINS, we met Eddie on 2014. We just said we know each other for 3 years. And it's an amazing journey. Yes, they are very talented Eddie and his team, Adam, Stephen, and we actually why we come together because we have the same belief. Yes, coincidentally, because we are a mobile wallet, we encourage a cashless city, the smart city concept, and they are exactly the bridge over the old economy of coins, using tangible coins, but transformed into mobile payments, mobile values. So that's why we met together and worked together and trying to solve some pain points of the society to make it convenience and create more value for the users and the society. So this is where we work together. Except Eddie, we also met Fresh Up. So they are a new entrepreneur. They make their vending machines and it's a similar concept that you use coins at the past, but they now use mobile payments or other electronic payments. So we also support them to make some IoT machines, IoT vending kiosks in all over Hong Kong. So yes, this is our thoughts, and we welcome the talent people, and we support all the youngsters in Hong Kong. So come to find us.
Thank you, Amanda. I think after the panelists has introduced themselves briefly about the story behind, we realized we have a really great pool of experience on how education, technology, and business involvement for the common social good. So I think I owe them for the opening applause for their comment. Do you mind to give them a big hands before we move on our journey? Now, obviously, I was asked to really to dig out, some of your story when you guys start your venture at the very beginning. So let me go back to this side for Connor. And how did you come up with this social mission, and why you really link this idea? So obviously, this is the first part of your entrepreneurship. It will be interested by the audience.
Should we carry on the video? Or?
You like to show the video?
The video
first,
is
or?
really, really good.
Okay, okay. So then, let's start the video now. Yeah.
As a business, often we try to aspire to do something good as we also do our work. But it isn't always easy to find the right solution. When we met Teen Future, we found a business that can help with our quality assurance and do so with something positive in society by offering quality QA services to Outblaze in games and the app space. We very much encourage working with them to help basically drive a better tomorrow for Hong Kong.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the thing is that if anything, we're going to continue to grow into a point where we are using more external studios, where we're diversifying on from a global perspective, where we're actually adding more people from the US, from Canada, from Europe, and probably people from different parts of Asia as well. And due to that, it's kind of that 8-hour window has turned into a 15-hour window, is opening to a 24-hour window that we have every single day. And if we're able to operate in a way that allows us to have people around the clock to be able to get on board, to answer stuff, to address stuff, it's only going to be a benefit to us. So that global approach is going to work definitely.
喺遊戲測試呢一個行業裏邊，最重要嘅就係多一對眼就多一個新嘅觀點。而 Teen Future 嘅年輕人能夠提供到好多新嘅觀點俾我哋，亦都可以揾到好多我哋以前未能夠發覺嘅問題。喺呢一方面，我對佢哋嘅表現係相當之滿意嘅。除此之外，喺報告問題嘅時候咧，佢哋都能夠提供好詳細嘅報告啦。另外仲有就係如果佢哋嘅報告有問題，佢哋亦都好快可以咁俾到回應我哋。喺呢一度我亦都好滿意。
咁咧，其實我哋公司咧一路都想帶俾一個 CSR 呢個概念咧，俾我哋嘅所有嘅同事，即係去推廣翻呢個 CSR 呢個概念嘅。咁但係可能大家公司都知道咧，其實對推廣呢個概念咧，其實係一件好難嘅事，因為始終同事大家都好忙嘅時候，就呢個已經佢哋工作嘅時間已經好忙，就好難會有呢個空餘嘅時間啦，去做一啲其餘嘅事情去回饋翻社會嘅。咁但係同 Team Future 合作咧，有個好處就係佢可以做到一啲公司嘅嘢嘅同時，亦都可以做一個 social 嘅 impact 俾翻一個社會。咁呢兩樣嘢合埋一齊嘅時候，我哋就會容易一啲俾呢個 CSR 嘅概念去推廣翻俾我哋所有嘅同事咯。
我加入咗 Team Future 接近3年，喺呢度學到一種責任感。呢種責任感比起以前學校讀書嘅時候都好唔同。以前就算應承咗任何嘢，最後做唔到，結果都只係俾人講1-2句。但喺 Team Future 做嘢，工作代表公司，如果我哋達唔到個要求，被懷疑嘅會係成間公司。之前做其他嘅 part time 目的純粹係為咗賺錢，但係依家做 game test 除咗學到一啲專業知識，仲為緊自己未來而鋪路。雖然 Team Future 嘅成員唔係太多，但係大家都似一家人咁，所以大家都重視大家。
Thanks, Connor and Sean. It's a very touching story and very.
It was worth the wait, right?
Yeah, worthwhile collaboration, and so there must be some story behind when Connor you start, the beginning of this venture. What are the idea and the challenges do you face at the very beginning?
Like what I said, I have a simple desire to help the marginal youth. Because I was marginal youth before, hanging out with the gangs member and just doing confusing and don't know what to do when I was young. So I would just want to be a mentor, be a leader to help the youth to find their way. So this is the desire I try to help the youth. And the challenges is when I start with nothing, I know nothing about game testing. I know nothing about how to get the marginal youth. So I start to, use whatever the resources I have around me. I try to, cold call with the company that I don't know, and just, I guess the passion that helped me to driven to where I am now. Yeah.
Great. And perhaps, Sean, can you add also your experience or interaction? I think date back to a few years ago when you first encountered with this kind of requests and about looking into a kind of testing team from the external partner, and these are the marginal youth, and obviously we don't like to label, this kind of youth, but I think there must be certain perception and difficulties at the very beginning. How did you overcome it, not only from yourself and also from kind of teamwork to build it up until today?
So I guess from like a very kind of, it was mentioned briefly in the video, but it's super important, is basically, so just regarding games, well, just software in general, right? It's super unpredictable as to how roadmaps plan out, the amount of work that's going to be needed, when you're going to need more people, less people, how busy you're going to get, or if a product ends up becoming popular, then it's okay, it's a good problem to have, but it's a problem we need to actually prepare for it. So in regards to just from a pure resourcing perspective, we've always had trouble with finding the best way to give us something that's flexible and scalable, which means that we're able to get resources on hand in very short notice. Now, generally, when you're working with a very strict third party and you do this, it usually means that you need to give X amount of hours guaranteed with certain amount of lead-in time and stuff. And it's a standard thing, right? It's normal, but it can sometimes be an overhead that you may not want to always be taking in, especially in software when it can be so unpredictable. So we needed something flexible. So this is one of the boxes that was ticked, right? Because this was going to be flexible for us, or it's going to be way more flexible than what we are used to doing internally, or what we've seen with standard external partners. And then going back to the perspective when we're looking at working with marginalized youth, it was mentioned very briefly, but internally within a company, so we're a very international company. It means that we've got, I think, something like 20 or so different nationalities within the office, or something like that. And we've got offices in many different places across the world. But regardless of how international or diverse you may think you are internally, there's a certain type of bias that develops anyway. Because everybody has this kind of, you foster a perspective. And what we were able to do with this is that we were able to just take advantage of what was there innately, which was essentially being able to speak and work with people who were not grown with our bias, right? They were able to bring a completely unique perspective. And the type of work that we were asking them to give us with testing, or anything that is kind of, let's say, input on product, right? That is what QA is. We're able to get a perspective to us, feedback to us that didn't have that bias. So not only is there a different type of idea that's coming towards us, there's no filter as well. And when you're working on something, people are working on something for many months, years sometimes, you add layers and layers of filter because you don't want to hurt feelings and doing stuff like that. But with this approach, it allowed that filter to be removed. And it also allowed us to accept perspectives that we just couldn't have internally, just due to the nature of, when you develop companies and work together and collaborate. So those are the immediates, right? We had flexibility and we had perspectives that we just couldn't get any other way.
I can see how you appreciate this kind of perspective externally will add value in your overall operation and business process. But I'm quite interested how you guys to share it across the board. I understand it might be from the top, Mr. Seal, he really supported, but of course this is only top down. It's not that so easy. But how I can also see some of your colleagues really comment, hey, it sounds like CSR, but at the end, it's with the whole team really appreciate. How was this kind of journey that you enjoy from this partnership? Yeah.
So, in like those slides that I mentioned and showed with Outblaze, right, where we've kind of, our thumb is in like almost every pie, right? We've tried and sampled and done everything almost. So when these kind of opportunities came forward, it was just a case of, okay, it gives us a chance to try something different again, right? And with businesses, if we're doing it from an investment perspective, you say, okay, this might be something short term, maybe it'll grow longer than that, right? So it's the same kind of thing. So it's like, okay, let's approach this first, see if it works, right? And that was it. And because we're open to actually trying anything we want, or anything that makes sense, it meant that we were already willing, like, from an internal perspective, we were willing to take on something unfamiliar, right? Because that's what we generally do. So it wasn't so much that we were hesitant of would it work or wouldn't it work, it was more, is it gonna, right? Let's see what happens. So we were already open to it, because generally we want to be open to it. And I think what it is that, immediately we were able to get benefits just due to the situation that we were from a company, like strategically what we were looking at right there. And these were people who we needed to work straight away. We did. So it was a resource we needed, right? So we were already open to doing it because it was something different. And immediately it's a resource that we wanted to have in some form anyway. So there was already it was already a step towards, being successful for us, because kind of the open approach we had and what we needed at the time as well.
Yeah, I can see that this is a typical case of creating shared value. On one hand, resources and also value added from the external party. At the same time, this external party, as maybe some still label them as the marginal youth, but then they really find a way how they can really enjoy to showcase their talent. Okay? This is a new game, it's not yet in the market, for instance. And at the same time, they can also earn something, for their own pocket. I think this is a kind of great example. Obviously, we need to turn to another side to learn about something that I am aiming to be Eddie's client after we finish this panel discussion. HEYCOINS story at the very beginning. How was you inspired by this kind of problem of the coins? I think I have to confess I have this problem for years. But I still have, cannot go out of the blocks and to look for something. Please share with us something, what a trigger point inspired you to do this, and now you pursued it for more than 3 years now, right?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Alex. I appreciate for being fans without, seeing our machine first. Like a lot of you guys maybe here is from the university as well. I was staying in the dormitory for 4 years. When I about to move out my dormitory during the graduations, I realized I have 4 jar of coins, which I really don't know how and use how and spend it. Then I spent a whole day and staying on my dormitory to count the coins one by one, and I realized I have 4,000 something coins. And I realized, what? That's a lot of money. And I was just student. It's a lot of money for me. And so I think about how should I fix out the problems. So I tried to go to the banks, but those coins is too heavy for me to bring along with to the banks. 50 kg something, I think. Cannot do that. And so I try to use any other channels maybe I can use. So, Lingnan University was in Tuen Mun, right? HKMA do have a coins truck. But at that time, the truck was in Pauling, so it's not the side of Hong Kong. I have to travel, 2 hours for that. It doesn't make sense. So I realized, any other solutions? There's no. So I asked my friends in the school, I said, do you have the similar problem? They said, yes. And I said, do your family have the similar problem? They said, yes, every household has a jar of coins at home. Just like Dr. Alex. So I feel like it smells like a business for me. And to check out the HKMA data, I was surprised there's 8 billion of the coins out there. Nobody was touching on that. And for me, I was, inspired by my grandmother. My grandmother was pretty much a dealer of everything. So I said, no, I got to do this anyway. So I just called up my friends, hey, do you want to solve this problem? And that was Adam. And we went to Shenzhen the next day and stayed there for 3 months and fix out how we should fix out the problems, everything. So it's pretty much very passionate and emotional when we started business. And coincidentally, we see the trends of the global digitalization of the payment side. So at the very beginning, we thought about using Octopus card, but from our perspective, you using Octopus card, where will be our position to be? How we don't want to just be a vending machines on the streets, right? Eventually, people will forget about us. So we're trying to find our position, how we can empower the world by digitalizing all the cash. That's the reason why we found all the digital wallets. Of course, HKT is a big name in our thought, and it has a strong trust from the people, and we're dealing with the money. So that's why we found HKT at the very first place, and they respond very quickly, acting like a startup, like they always say to themselves. Yeah, they do like a startup. So that's why how we work with each other, and spend several months doing prototype again, and days and night. We back to them. We only have 4 of us to running and developing the whole thing. But HKT's people do share a lot of knowledge to help us. Somehow we learn a lot from them. Yeah.
Obviously, I still have tons of questions to ask you, but let Amanda share a little bit about your experience at the very beginning. You're such a big company, and like a big bank. They would like to, see the background of the customer, and like Eddie at that time. Obviously, he's smart and good working experience before, but then that is this kind of new venture. How do you overcome, the kind of internal checkbox, the criteria, to give a hand to this young entrepreneur at that time?
Well, you really know us very well. There's a checkbox, right? Tick. Yeah, we met.
By the way, we did not talk to each other before about it.
No, but you already know our company. Yeah. But it's true, like Eddie said, we're some kind like a startup unit in the HKT, although HKT is 100 years old company. But we're new. We are just 3 years old, 3 to 4 years old, and luckily we have the autonomy to to have some decision making, because actually no one knows fintech, no one knows mobile payment in Hong Kong at the moment. Everyone is a startup, everyone's starting a new business, and we. At that time, is really, I don't know, is a coincidence that met Eddie and his team. And we have a shared value, that's true. We have something in common that we want to achieve. And this drive is very crucial, I think, is very critical along the way, that not only our team support, but our management also support to the group MD, financial, CFO, and everyone supports this idea, because we are looking for the future. We are looking at the future, and we know that is coming. So we are happy to have Eddie and his team, and they're talented, they have new ideas, and somehow they can try something new that such a large company like us, we cannot do. Probably just like Sean said, probably the in-house will not have such resources or freedom to do that. But with them, they can try this for us. They can give us feedback and tell us how to do a better business. And of course, they're young, and they're our customers as well, and they share their experience and know-how and some attitude to us. We actually learn from them as well along the way, and so that's why they fulfill all the checkbox of HKT.
Right. Now, back to you, Eddie. If I don't ask you this question, I cannot sleep well tonight. And I'm very keen on knowing about your revenue model and how you make money and how you associate, making money with the kind of social impact. What are the underlying kind of rationale during your consideration of value creation process?
Okay, so obviously it's like investor problems, questions that we need to answer every day. We do have several different revenue streams. First of all, we have previously we don't charge users for using our services.
So I will be your client.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
But we recently we reinitiated with a very little service charge on that. But giving all the promotions from our side and digital wallets at Tap and Go side.
I like to hear that, but then I can be your investor then.
Yeah. Then
service charge. Yeah.
Yeah. So service charge is one of them, and we have top of commissions from the merchant side, and also we selling gift vouchers. We also have a pretty good, profit margin on that, and also we have advertisement, and also and we're doing a lot of cash management, sort of services for different industries, like a lot of cash on delivery services. We do help them to collecting and digital their cashes. Maybe I cannot name the names here, but a lot of logistic companies, delivery companies, they have a lot of spare change of small cashes. So we do provide B2B solutions to them as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, given that, we actually, the reason why we're going overseas, like Singapore and Thailand, as well as Macau, we do provide solutions of the coins automations and giving all the experience that we have and all the foundations we build, hardware, software, we sell as a solution as a SaaS models, which pretty much give us a very sustainable business in the long run. Because most of you guys think about there be no cash in the future. Still, there's a trend. That's why we're pushing it. But before that, you don't know when and how it can come. There's only one China, right? But given the fact, like looking at the US, looking at Europe, even Australia and other ASEAN countries, it's hard to doing that. Still, for us, we did have a lot of pretty much long wrong way to run. And before taking off, then we actually learning and accumulating all the different customers, which trust us because we handling all their small amount of transactions and help them to actually digitalize all the money. So it's somehow to gain the trust from the people, and somehow maybe in the future give us a lot of potential. That's why we have a sort of a potential investor looking on us on that area. We can actually creating some new financial services for the people, and also trying to educate them in leading them to another directions of that. Just out of curiosity, maybe you guys think about most of the users could be now grandmother or children, those kind of in the wet market. But actually, majority of the users age from 13 to 25, so it's pretty young.
Allow me to balance a bit the perspective. Not that I just want to be your customer or investor, and then I think there are certain NGO would also like to work with you, and you also mentioned that you can also inspire the user to do donation spontaneously. Can you elaborate a little bit more about it?
Yep. So most of you guys may be familiar with the flag selling days in Hong Kong. Every Wednesday and Saturday morning, there's a flag selling days. But do you know there's over 900,000 value of coins being collected every morning? There's a lot of coins. And purely using banks. And right now, well, the banks, obviously, they're doing CSR, they don't want to charge it. But to be honest with you guys, banks doesn't want to take that. It just doesn't make money for them. But for us, it's the coins, right? And we hate coins, we like coins. So we're trying to help the NGOs to process their coins in a very minimum charge. And actually, purely banks takes at least 2 weeks to help them to banking all the things. But for us, we can do it within 3 working days to 4 working days. And it will provide different channels for NGOs to exposure themselves. That's why we have the campaign called NGO Wednesdays on our Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, and help them to exposure. Because all the NGOs will pick up is small NGOs. The big NGOs, you don't need exposure at all. But the small NGO, they're doing something socially good. You need exposure on that. So if you as an NGO will help, we're really happy to have you on board.
Thank you. Now, I think I'd like to draw also your attention to the challenges or the resources as entrepreneur going forward, and as a corporate partner, perhaps also certain barrier or certain area that you would also like to further develop in terms of cooperating with these groups of youngsters going forward, or the kind of demand for support from similar financial kind of services or any other entrepreneur going forward. So I just would like the team, two partners, touch a little bit more about this area, about the challenges and also what you need for your future.
I guess like most of the startup, externally, the challenges is how to build the brand name, and also how to get more customer. This is the external challenge for me, and the internal challenge is how to manage the marginal youth. Well, I guess it's a tough issue for most of the company, but for me, we have the trust culture in the company, and that trust really help the marginal youth grow with in a healthy way, that they can work along to each other, and they build a great team. Sometimes I learn from them too. Yeah.
So growth-wise, I guess ultimately we're all people, so it doesn't really matter background and such, and skills are taught. So we obviously, whenever we've gone into these partnerships, whether it be QA, and we've already moved beyond QA as well, we've been doing a lot of stuff with CS-related tasks as well, which are a different skill set. But each time we've invested our own resources and time into, developing skill sets with, everyone who kind of works with us. So it's where it works for us in the future is kind of across disciplines, right? And it depends on where our business goes as well, right? So, and it depends on kind of what types of, you know, let's say, for example, like one of the things that I was discussing a little bit earlier today is that we're seeing more importance with the way our business is moving to have very kind of user-facing social connections and social groups and kind of social contact across social media, right? So it's just social media channels. And those are avenues where the overhead of managing those channels is actually pretty high. And you can't predict growth of those channels. So you actually need people to be able to potentially manage these groups in short notice, right? So that's similar to what we've done with QA and similar to what we've done with CS. So, you know, it makes sense for us to, again, kind of reach out with people like Teen Future to work on those initiatives as well. Because, again, essentially, the skills that are required to do it, they can be taught. They can. And it's a service that we benefit from, so we'll teach it. But ultimately, what needs to be done is a person needs to be there to perform the task. Right? And the person who is essentially doesn't matter too much, right? With some exceptions. So that's another way that we can see this growing with our current, you know, relationship we have with Team Future. And that's just one step. And then there are multiple other ways we can go, right? There's always other options as we move forwards. But yeah, there are always business opportunities that require people to kind of execute, right? And the type of people varies depending on the business opportunity. And there will be no doubt many opportunities and initiatives that we roll into that will have room to work with Teen Future and other similar groups. Because again, we essentially just need to work with people. So.
As Corner mentioned about of course, the importance of business development, but at the same time, you also need to build a kind of culture to gather the teenagers in order now to kind of fit into perhaps short-term or even medium-term business strategy development. So it seems that you guys have already internally developed something that is interlinked with, you know, these sort of resources. So can you share with us a little bit more about how the overall, maybe 3 years ago up till now, the corporate culture that you and your team with respect to the dimension to the society, how it really trigger, you know, you guys to do this. You know, I also came from kind of more academic side, and I would also like to see how, you know, the kind of positive impact to the culture of the corporate partner from that angle.
So I mean, so we've seen it work, right? So that's the thing. We've got an example of it working for us. So we know that, okay, the setup that we have works. We know roughly the overhead to make that work. We know kind of what skills are required to make that work and the levels of input that's needed from our side and from their side to make it work. So it's, when we look at kind of, as we move forwards with how we kind of change and grow our business, right? So one thing that we're definitely doing right now is blockchain, right? Everybody else is, we're doing it as well. And it's a case of us knowing that within some of these kind of halo groups that would support our blockchain initiatives, we know that there are solutions that we've worked on already, like with the QA stuff, that will tie directly to that, right? And that's a bleeding edge kind of technology, right? Blockchains and building that stuff. But we know, like I say, we have systems that we know work. So it's not so much that we're now shaping products or shaping our strategy to basically accommodate, right? It's just complementary to what we do, regardless, right? We know it works for the business that we do. So it's no longer a case, okay, how can we kind of bend over this way to allow this to happen? We can basically run our day-to-day business, explore new avenues, kind of invest in any initiative and know that whatever is contributed from Team Future's side will work for us because it works for whatever business we want to kind of put forwards. So.
Thank you. So Bev made about, you know, this question because they are much more, from my perspective, integrated into, you know, certain core business and development. But how about your side and the challenges and also the kind of resources that perhaps you need, or the sort of corporate partner perspective, how your partner should also support your business or any other dimension going forward. Can you share with us a little bit more about it?
May I clarify the question again, sir?
And going forward, how would you expect the support from your corporate partner? Not necessarily HKT Financial Services, but more, in general, how you would like to build, your future with their support.
Yep. I think for every business, even across the social and enterprise, still enterprise, every business, for our understanding, has to be make a win-win situation for the partners. It's not we are trying to build a Hey ecosystem in our society, in our system, economy. So coming forward, we go different regions. We trying to duplicate the cases of that we did in Hong Kong, and trying to work trying similar way with a local digital wallet, local vouchers, local donation partners, which we realized the similar problems. I mean, we're trying to build a cross-border, networks for everybody can play in. So that's sort of the future direction we're going to. And of course, we need a strong foundations that in Hong Kong, which we already built on, and giving all the trust from the users. I think it's somehow can be shared. The experience can be shared among different regions. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So how about Amanda?
Actually, we are working in our new business, it's the fintech. And although we're an old company, but we just start to know how to do it and still learning. And we welcome all the partners, all the people, all the youngsters to contribute to this industry. And of course, this it's payment or financial services for everyone. Is serving people. So we welcome you guys join on board, and we learn from each other. So this is the attitude, and we're always open to support. And of course, they are actually supporting us as well.
Okay, great. Now, I think we have already benefit from the great pool of experience, and not only the perspective of education for good, or technology for good, or even business operation. But now I think from what they have experienced, one key remark is very important. Let me take your point. Win-win, right? I think this I think the key point. How we can identify the area that we can synergize our resources, we can have a win-win partnership, and we have the common goal, and basically financially and also socially. So with that, may I suggest all of you to give them a big hand for their sharing. And then I would like to open up the floor for the questions you may have. As I said, if I don't ask some question, I cannot sleep well tonight. So please go ahead. Don't worry. I can see just some gesture. Okay, please, this gentleman.
First of all, thank you for sharing your wonderful experiences. My question is to Eddie. So I have basically two questions. The first question is like for your kind of business, you also need to have a good collaboration with the government, right? And HKMA, like basically the government bodies. So how did you approach that collaboration, and how do you manage it, like all the while for these years? And the second question is for the collaboration with, for example, for coupons with Starbucks. So how did you manage to collaborate with them, especially in the initial stages when you didn't have any numbers to show them? Like you don't have any like number of people using your service, you don't have like the millions of coins that you are converting every month, how did you convince them to get on board?
Thank you. Oh, what's your name? Sorry. Oh, thank you very much, Bago. I think for your first question, it's very crucial and important for us. We're collecting the money. You have to let the regulator know because we're dealing with money, right? So initially, we're trying to approach sort of organizations like Invest Hong Kong. I'm not sure you heard about this kind of organization. They helped all the foreigners to set up a company in Hong Kong, and they're trying to help you to connect all the government relationships. Obviously, if you send an email to HKMA, I'm pretty sure there's no response. We're like, not that response you want, right? So Invest Hong Kong do help us to set up the meeting with the HKMA. So they know us, know what we're doing, and we're fine to go ahead and do the business. So just pretty much like when we go to Singapore, we find the enterprise SG, the same. And in every government that we're running, every government is welcoming. They have sort of a kind of a department like that. You can go and find, they welcome you, and they have KPIs, right? So they help you anyway. For second question is how we proved we can work with the big corporations. I think you need tractions. Every business you need tractions. So when we started selling the voucher, you know what? We buy the vouchers from the carousel, secondhand. Yeah, and we just sell it, and record the numbers in Excel. And later on we go to Maximum. Hey, we sell a lot of vouchers. Do you want to work? Then they say, yes, let's work. That's how it works, right? So it's simple. I mean, to build your traction, because every time, any kind of a business partner, they need to know how you can do business for them. But before that, you have to prove you have a simple MVP, which is minimal valuable product for them to be available to see. So once they'll be ready, I think you're good to go. Did that make sense to you? Yeah, thank you.
So thank you very much for sharing. I actually have a question for both of the corporate partners. So previously we heard from some of the sharing at the startup, a lot of young people actually really need support from like big corporations or other like people in the different industries. However, it's very difficult for them to think of a good way, some kind of very good strategy to approach you guys. So I would like to get your some suggestions or some tips. So if for a startup company, they want to approach you for partnership or in general, like approaching appropriate partners. So what are the tips that you might give them so that they could be well prepared? Thank you.
First of all, my contact number maybe. Yes, you can call me up. And but how you approach us actually, I want to ask you.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, really? Actually, it's the common goal we have. Yes, we would like to transform the current society to a cashless one, to ease the pain point of the people, and this is where we come together. You will think that it's just a dream or just a motto or slogan, but actually it's not. It's financially and business-wise viable, and also at their side and outside. So this kind of a belief that triggers together.
I think when we started to approach HKT is very simple. I think it's very common for startups. You have to be as many places you can to join different conferences, different places, networking, gathering, whatever is paid or is free. So go and talk to people about your ideas. That's why actually we went to one of the events organized by Microsoft. That's the reason why we met with one of the guys from PCCW Solutions. And that is the guy who introduced us to Amanda. So, I mean, somehow it's not working. I think you have to be ready to do your elevator pitch every second to present your ideas. So it's how you prepare yourself. But for the corporate partners, they were ready to listen to your idea, but are you ready on that? That's a question.
So I guess it's a little different because investment and partnership, it depends on what we end up doing. So for example, like in regards to I was working with Teen Future, that was a case of them identifying that we do games and saying, okay, this is what we can bring to you, right? So they came with the idea of knowing that what we do synergizes with what they're offering straight away. So with an investment, though, that could be something completely different. It doesn't necessarily need to be complementary. Today, if someone has something blockchain related, then maybe we'd be interested. But it's difficult, right? Because ultimately for us, we tend to be looking for what do people have to show, right? So ideas are not in short supply. Everybody has ideas. It's not difficult for us to be overflowing with ideas ourselves that we can't do anything with them. So it's important to actually come and show us something. Something that is kind of, and sure, it's difficult because the fact is it costs money to show something as well, right? So it's kind of, okay, what do we do first? But it really does make a huge difference. So coming to us with a pitch that's just an idea and maybe a slideshow is super different to coming to us with a pitch and a slice of a product, a slice of an idea that is something tangible, right? That changes it completely. So it's like if the difference between getting a meeting and actually getting a second meeting is usually on coming with something in your hand as opposed to telling us something that, you know, can be done over a phone or something.
So great. If I might conclude the remarks from our panelists, and first of all, I think we talk about corporate and social entrepreneur partnership. We need win-win. We need common goal. We also need to have a cultural fit, support each other continuously, and we need also kind of perspective of value added. If I may add what I learned also from earlier session, the youth power, I was really inspired by them. That groups of SEC alumni, they were not afraid of problem. They treat problem as the opportunity. So don't be afraid. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Let us give a big hand to all the panelists again. Thank you.